Hi, today I would like to share with you what I titled Leave What No Longer Serve You. This topic is largely influenced by the book that I read recently. The author, who happens to be a Fulani lady, narrated that she was gifted a sheep when she was young to nurture by her grandma. She nurtured the sheep in the morning and in the evening. But there was one particular day the sheep escaped from where it was tied. And so when she saw the sheep had escaped, she ran after the sheep and held the rope. I wouldn't allow the sheep to go. But unfortunately, the sheep was bigger than her, so the sheep dragged her down. She fell down and she had bruises on her face. But she still held on. She wouldn't let go. She said even the people in the environment laughed at her and she wouldn't let go because she believed she had invested so much in the sheep and she can't allow the sheep to just go like that. Until her parent asked her to release the sheep and let it go. That was when she released the sheep and she nurtured the bruises for like a week. But sincerely, if we look at it, we realize that most of us are like this girl. And we've invested so much in relationship. We've invested so much in job, in business that are no longer serving us, but we are still holding on to it. It could be because of time. Maybe we invested so much time. It could be because we've invested our resources, our energy, or probably those things, they have served us before, but right now they are no longer serving us. In order to understand what I'm saying, can you just picture your wardrobe? You're in front of your wardrobe and just picture you have a clothes. You have a full clothes in your wardrobe. But most of those clothes can no longer size you. Maybe they are too small or even they are too big. They could be expensive, right? They could be expensive. They could be beautiful, but they cannot serve you. And you have them piled up in your wardrobe. And you know, it creates something in you. You always think that you have clothes, right? But in reality, you don't actually have clothes. So the same method is what happens in our mind when it is crowded. You know, you feel that you have a relationship that you can always bank on, but truthfully, do you actually have that relationship? You feel that you have that job that is providing, or you have that business that is serving you, but ask yourself that question, that do you actually have those things you said you have? It could be habits. It could be culture. You know, there are some culture that are no longer serving us, but we are still holding on to it. And one thing about culture is that this culture, they are designed and made by men like us. Most of those cultural traditions were created or were curated because of what was happening at that time. But now we have better knowledge. We have the Bible. We understand the scriptures. And so most of those cultures, we need to even review them. That does not mean that we should eradicate our identity or who we are. But there's need for us to review some culture that are no longer serving us. Also see this in the scriptures. We see the life of Naomi. You know, Naomi spent 10 years in Moab. In Moab, she lost her husband. She lost her sons. You will think that it will be easy for her to return back to Bethlehem. But I bet it with you that it is not easy. In order to really get the concept of what happened at that time, there's need for you to think about what the Japa syndrome and just think about Japada. It is not easy to Japada, despite all that may be happening. But the truth is, she had invested 10 years of her life and she went there because there was famine in Bethlehem. But unfortunately, she got there. Probably there was no famine then, right? But she lost so many things and she had to brace up and go back to Bethlehem. So there is need for us to always assess our life. And how do we live what no longer serves us? There's need for us to take self-assessment. This self-assessment, or I can say self-audit, in order to know those things that no longer serve us, but we are still holding on to it. There's need for us to do self-assessment so that we are aware of those things. So when we are aware of those things, then we need to itemize them one after the other. In our relationship, who are our friends? Those friends that are no longer serving us, those friends that are draining us, those friends that all you do in that group is to buy a Ashwebi of 150 to 50k, and you know that you cannot afford it, but you need to keep up. Like I narrated, that you should think of your wardrobe the same way you should think of your mind and try to decongest those things that are no longer serving you, so that you can put in those things that can serve you and can help you to grow and to become who you want to be. All right, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Encourage me, all right?